Hey, welcome to another Today's Fun Project. Today we got a 92 Corvette here, and the problem is the blower motor inside the car, the cabin, continues to run on high. Even when the key is off or the key's out and the engine's off, it's still running. It has a mind of its own. So what I'll do is show you how to disable that in a pinch so you don't drain your battery down, and then I'm going to show you how to diagnose the issue and get it fixed. So if your control unit or head unit above the radio, this is for the electronic control, I think it's called a C68. It's in the 90 to 96 C4 Corvette generation. Anyhow, if that head unit, you're pushing buttons and you got speed 1 through 10 and it doesn't seem to be going where you want it to go, or you're trying to change vent positions, well, I've got a great video on that. I'll leave a link in the description down below how to solve that issue and to diagnose it and repair it, which is pretty simple. It's helped probably thousands of people already. I've got a tremendous response from that video. So I'll leave that for you, but this is a different situation. The blower motor is running on high, so we don't need to check power and ground. We know it's getting electric, so that's good. I'm not even going to go to that step. I'll probably just explain to you in case you're not familiar with that. You're a DIY guy, where the power feed is, where the ground is. That's really simple. You just need a voltmeter for this, and we'll get to it. So let's have some fun. All right, so let me break down the steps for you, what's involved with the HVAC here on the C4. So you've got the head unit, which is located by your radio, and if you have a digital display readout, that means that the programmer is functioning, most likely sending a signal here. And if you're pushing these buttons and they're not responding to the way they should be, then go ahead and check out my other video where I show you how to real cheaply, inexpensively, and fast fix that and save yourself about $400 to $500. So anyhow, that's not what we're here for. That's functioning okay on this car. We've got the programmer, so this is the brains of the system, and it sends the signal to the what they call the power module, which is basically like a blower motor resistor. That's what I would call it, but this is electronic. It doesn't have the old school curly Q that heats up, and basically it's removing heat from the resistance. Now the higher a electric motor is running, the less resistance, the less heat is produced. So when you have your fan set on this car, it goes from 1 to 10. 1, it's going to have more resistance, there's going to be more heat build up. And 10, there's less heat build up. So that's what this does, this module. I'll show you that. Anyway, it's pretty simple. Here's your blower motor. So you've got just a standard electric motor here. And what's going on, this module is basically like a relay. It is a relay. So there's power coming in. There's a 30 amp red wire in. There's black is your ground here. That also goes to the motor. And then you have the tan wire, which is your signal wire. So this programmer's telling the sending a duty cycle here to the module to tell it how fast to run. And then you've got the output, obviously, which is feeding the power to the fan itself. So it's pretty simplistic, at least to me it is, and I'm sure many other people watching this. But if you don't know, that's how it is. And I'm going to show you how to diagnose it. You have any questions about this, leave me a comment, shoot me a message, and we'll try to get them answered for you. Let me take you in and show you where the blower motor module is. We're on the passenger side. Here's the coolant tank, and here's the engine. Obviously we're up by the firewall. So the harness comes up here to the modules down in here. It's held in with 3 bolts, and I'll show you where those are, 3 small screws. And you've got 2 connectors. So you've got this smaller connector, which has 1 red wire, and then you've got this one here, which you've got your black, your tan, and your purple. So the red obviously should be obvious, is a 12 volt feed, and the black is your ground. Now I have this disconnected now, otherwise it'll be running. I'm going to show you right now. The car is off, the ignition is off. You got to trust me on that. The key is out, and if I connect this is what you need to do basically. If yours is running and you're in a pinch and you don't have time to repair it and you need to disable it, well, you can disconnect either one of these. I would disconnect the power, and then make sure that you tape it off or plug it off, so you don't want it to short out on any grounds here. But anyway, if I make this connect, this one is in. If I make this connect, which I'm going to do right now, you hear it's running. So that's running. We go in the car and we'll see. So keys out, and that's off. We're running. That's our symptom right there. So obviously engine's off. So let's disable this. Now what I did was, you can't see it on film, but I took a pick, a small pick, and on this blue connector right here, let's get that in focus. Push back on that and then pull up, and it'll come out, it'll clip right out. So you see there's 2 pins in there. That's a good point. There's 2 pins, but there's only 1 wire. So it's not necessary. I think this module was used in the earlier C4s, where this also controlled the, had something to do with the air conditioning compressor, turning that on and off. So don't hold me to it, because I don't have the wiring diagram for that. But not to worry, you just got the 1 wire. So anyhow, here's your other connector. Pull up on this black tab right down here, and then give this a pull. That comes off. Now you see that's a 4-pin on the module, but you're only using 3 pins. So like I said, black is ground, tan is our signal in, and purple is our power excuse me, power feed out to the blower motor itself. So it's pretty simple. All right, so now we're back probed to the tan wire, which is our control wire, which comes directly from the programmer. So what we're doing here is testing that the AC programmer is actually functioning, and it also tells us if the head unit's working, because what we're going to do is, right now the ignition is off. I've got 0 volts. Hopefully you can see that. I don't know with the glare, but we're at 0 volts. I'm going to go into the car, turn the ignition, the key to on, turn the fan on, and we should see voltage here, probably around 6 volts. Now what this is telling us is that that system is functioning and the signal is getting to the control, to the blower module down here. So I want to test the circuit integrity, it's called. So anyway, let's do that. Now if we had a scope, we could probably see the duty cycle where it's on, off, and that's actually sending the signal to the module, which would control the RPM speed of the blower motor. But we're not worried about that right now. We just want to make sure that that stuff in there is working before we take the head unit or any of that apart. So let me do that right now. All right, I'm in the car and I'm turning the ignition on. And hopefully, let me come out and check. Hopefully we got voltage there. Let's see. Okay, good. We're at 6.86 volts. So that's good. So to get the module out, I'm going to show you how simple it is. You get yourself a 7mm, I got a 1/4-inch drive here, 7mm socket, and we're going to remove 3 screws. Now you're going to see 5, but you only need to remove 3. And there's one 10mm nut, which I already loosened. So there's a clamp here that's holding this wire harness in front of it. Just take that nut off right there, and then you can slide this out of your way. We get a good shot of the module. Here's those 5 screws. So you got this 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So remove this one with the clamp. That's a hose. That'll come out of the way. You remove this one back here on that corner, and then this one here. And once you take them out, they're short. You know, they're like 3/4 of an inch long. Once you take those out, you don't need to remove this screw or this screw here. They can stay. And then you can just pull the whole module right out, and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, before I remove the module, I'm going to take some compressed air and just blow this crap off the top. I don't want that getting down in the box. There we go. All right, so I'm removing those 3 screws. All right, so with the 3 screws, it's time to pull the module out. So I just kind of push all this stuff out of the way. Let me zoom in a little bit. I hope you can see what I'm doing. So I just push these hose, this connector out, and then all you need to do is grab onto it. Now, you know, it might be a little stuck, but not bad. It's going to come straight up and out, and there we go. So, and this one has a little gasket on the bottom. If the new one doesn't come with that, we'll replace it. That's good to have. And this is what it looks like. So these 2 other screws, this one and this one, are actually holding this heat sink on. This is to dissipate that heat, that extra heat that's building up in the resistance when like explained earlier, when the motor's on low. So this is the module. It's not serviceable as far as I know. You can't take it apart. So we're just going to replace it. And what I'll do is give you the part number. If you're not sure about, you know, what you have, when you take your old one off, back here, it's actually made in Japan, you'll see your part number. So right over here it says Delco, and that's your part number. So make sure you check your part numbers, cross-reference, and it should work for you. Now let me show you what the blower motor on a 93 looks like for comparison. Alright, so let's compare the 2 modules. In this hand I've got the 93, and if you see, there's only 3 pins on the larger connector or plug area, and then there's only the 1 pin on the smaller one. That was that red 12-volt feed. Well, if you look at the 92 and earlier, you've got 2 pins here. We know this one's obsolete because we only have the 1 wire that I showed you on the connector, and then here we only have the 3 wires just like the 93, and that 4th one is not used. So it's not even used. It's not necessary. Now if this one costs more than that one, you know, you don't need to pay more. So what I'm getting at is, let's say you're scouting for a used one, you're at a junkyard or something, or you find one online, you can go ahead and interchange them. It's not necessary. Let's just say this one might have, quote, a little more technology than this one has, but they're both going to do the same thing. So basically it's just a blower motor resistor that's electronic. And I hope that helps someone out if they're in confusion about which one they need. I want to show you guys the reason why this one failed, or what's the cause of it. So I have, this is the old one out. I have the brand new one here, the brand new AC Delco. And what we're going to do is we're going to check the ohms from the feed, the 12-volt wire, which is that red wire, and the smaller connector, and between the pin of the purple wire, which is this one here on the top right. Hope you guys can see that up here. So you have the 4, this one up here at the top right. And when I do a continuity test here, here's our meter down here. Hopefully you can see that, but if not, right now it's open. And when I touch the 2 pins, we're basically full contact. So there's no open there. Now, so what that's doing basically is telling us that power is directly being fed to the motor. So that purple wire is the output. So the tan wire, which is over here, is the signal to tell the module how much power basically to put out. I'm just putting this in layman's terms so you understand. And then the purple wire feeds that motor. So down at the motor, there's a purple wire and a black wire, which is our ground. So as you can see there, that's like basically a continuous circuit. If I touch these 2 together, we get the, right? So let's take the replacement, which is the new part. And here's that. Well, let me show you the part number here. So this is your part number. Hopefully that's coming out. And then you always can look right up here. It says Delco. So this is brand new. And now let's check those same 2 pins. This does come with that gasket I told you with on the bottom. The Delco comes with a new seal, so that'll keep the water and stuff out in the air. So let's go to that pin. We're jumping that one. And we're going to jump this purple pin again. And purple wire pin. And you can see it's open. So that's good. So that means right now it's not shorted out. So that old unit has a short and it's feeding constant 12 volt. Let's pop the new one in and see how it goes. All right, so you see the new parts in. Let's go inside the car. All right, we're in the car now. I'll turn on the ignition. Hopefully we don't hear any fans running. And I do not hear the fan. Wait for that dinger to stop. Okay, so let's go over to the head unit. Make sure this works. So we're off right now. We do have power. Let's turn on that vent. Let's see what speed we're at. Obviously we hear the fan now. So we're at 1. Nice and low. Turn it up to 5. Turn it up to 10. Awesome. Shut it off. Nice and quiet. Just the way we like it. Hope that helps somebody out. Well, I hope that one helped you out, or you learned something, or maybe you just caught up on your beauty sleep. But it's a pretty simple fix, and we got it taken care of. So I hope I gave you the details you need. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down below. And don't forget to subscribe and rate, thumbs up. And I want to give a shout out to a couple of YouTubers here. One's Drive Shaft Drew. Sent me a couple stickers with a nice note. Said he enjoys my channel. And he really liked the video of my 9-year-old daughter doing the brake job repair on that F-150. So that was cool. Appreciate it, Drew. I'll leave a description of his channel down below. And then I've got another one here from my friend Joel, YouTuber. He's also a friend of mine. He sent me a high-def camera. So one of these little cameras I can get into little nooks and crannies when I'm doing detailed videos for you guys. So that's real cool, Joe. That's generous. I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot. And don't forget to stay tuned for future videos. And hope chaos stays away. So you guys, take it easy.